All right, absolute value practice. The absolute value is the what? We just talked about it. Who knows what they want to write here? Good. Alexis, what would you write? Perfect. The absolute value is the distance a number is from 0. And we just talked about this one as well. The symbol for absolute value is these tall straight lines. Fun fact, when you're doing order of operations, this is considered a grouping symbol, which is why when we're talking about order of operations, I prefer the acronym GEMMA instead of PEMMA or PEMDAS, because G stands for all grouping symbols, including parentheses and absolute value and many other things that it could be. So when we see this, we say, and I'm going to put it in quotation marks, so remember to say it, we say absolute value of 5. And even though I see this and I say absolute value of 5, in my head I should be thinking, how far is 5 from 0? And how far away is 5 from 0? Well, it's 5 away. And now, with that in mind, we can go ahead and we can answer at least the first 4 questions, I do believe. I see this. What would I say? Raise your hand to tell me what you would say when you see this. I'll wait until there's more hands. Thank you, that's better. Dylan. Exactly. I'm saying the absolute value of 3, but when someone says the absolute value of 3, when I see this, when I say absolute value of 3, what am I thinking so that I know how to answer? Good. Trace. Perfect. How far is 3 from 0? And now that we've asked ourselves that question, now we know that 3 is 3 away from 0. Like I said, the first 4 are going to be pretty easy. I see this. I say the absolute value of -9, and I think to myself, how far away is -9 from 0? -9 is 9 away from 0. It's just on the negative side. That's the only reason why there's that negative number, because it's on the negative side. But when I'm asking about the distance, I don't care about the direction. Okay, and number 3. The absolute value of -4 is equal to 4, because -4 is 4 away from 0, and the absolute value of 8 is equal to -8, because 8 is -8 away from 0. Yes, Gideon? But all of these other ones turned it to its opposite. -9 changed to 9, -4 changed to 4, so I'm going to change 8 to its opposite, which is -8, right? No? Oh, what should I do? Oren? Okay, very good. I felt a little bit like Dora there, but you guys caught on. Yes, I made that mistake on purpose. Gideon was the brave one who caught it and decided to say something. Remember, this is not a function that turns things to its opposite. It's a function that asks us how far is it from 0. So we don't just go ahead and turn it to its opposite. We ask how far is it from 0. And now remember how I said these are like grouping symbols? So if I'm going to be simplifying, I need to be following the order of operations. So I need to simplify what's in the grouping symbol first. For example, again, do you see this grouping symbol, this absolute value that is grouping 3 plus 4 together? That means we need to do 3 plus 4 first. You guys can do that. What is 3 plus 4? 7. So this is the absolute value of 3 plus 4, which can be simplified to the absolute value of 7. And then we can say, okay, how far away is 7 from 0? It's 7 away. Let's compare that to this. Again, we have our grouping symbol. We need to simplify what's inside of that grouping symbol first. Then we can actually worry about the absolute value. 7 minus 5 simplifies to 2. So then I ask, what is the absolute value of 2? It's 2 away from 0. Let me tell you the biggest mistake that I see students make. Well, I have to tell you on the next one, actually. It's going to make more sense down here. Okay, please, before we do anything, will you please quickly just kind of compare all the things that you see from 7 all the way down to 18. Man, those sure look similar, don't they? Yep, I've got some parentheses in some of the future ones. I have parentheses mixed with absolute value. So what I want you to understand is, although you might feel really confident about this, these problems are so very similar. I don't want you to make mistakes. So I want you to stay with me. Trust me. You're going to be appreciative later. Later on, I'm going to let you practice with 19 through 26. So that's where you guys can practice. But stay with me on 7 through 18 because the numbers are so very similar. We're just looking for little tiny differences that are going to affect how they're handled. All right, so number 7, very much like number 5. I bet you could do that one on your own. Notice we've got grouping symbols. Yes, the grouping symbols are an absolute value, but we have to simplify what's in those grouping symbols first. So we have the absolute value of 5 plus 3. So I'm going to simplify that 5 plus 3 first. And when I simplify that 5 plus 3 first, I see the absolute value of 8. And the absolute value of 8, how far is 8 from 0? That's 8 away. Compare 7 and 8. What's similar, what's different? Talk with your groups. What's similar, what's different here? What's the main difference between 7 and 8? Gideon, thank you. Yep, 8. Exactly. 8 is with negatives. This was 5 plus 3. This is negative 5 plus negative 3. But we shouldn't worry about that too much right now. All we have to do is simplify what's on the inside. So what is negative 5 plus a negative 3? We've been doing that for a little while. Negative 5 plus negative 3 is equal to negative 8. So this problem simplified to be the absolute value of negative 8. And what is the absolute value of negative 8? It is 8 away from 0. Very good. Now again, let's try and make some comparisons as we go through each of these. Number 9, now only one of them is negative. So I have 5 plus a negative 3. And 5 plus a negative 3 inside the absolute value means we've got to do that first. It's inside of a grouping symbol. 5 plus a negative 3, you all agree that it is 2, right? Okay. The absolute value of 2 is equal to 2. It's 2 away from 0. And over here, the absolute value of negative 5 plus 3. So again, we've got to simplify what's on the inside first. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2 this time. So now I have the absolute value of negative 2, which is equal to 2. Now I especially want you to compare number 7 to 11. How are 7 and 11 similar and different? Talk with your groups. Okay, and now come back to me. What do you see is happening there with 7 and 11? Similar and different. Waiting for some hands. Thank you. Liv. Yes, exactly. Number 7, the addition is grouped together inside of one single absolute value. Number 11, we have an absolute value of a number plus an absolute value of a separate number. So the addition is not part of that grouping symbol. So again, if we're looking at that order of operations, do I have grouping symbols? Yes, but is there anything I can do with those grouping symbols? No. I have to simplify the absolute value first. So what is the absolute value of 5? That's 5. What is the absolute value of 3? That's 3. And then we add them together. 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. So again, understand the differences between these. This we had addition to do on the inside, and then we took the absolute value. Here we take the absolute value, and then we do the addition, because the order of operations tells us that's the way it needs to be done. Now again, will you please compare number 8 with number 12? We're going to see similar things happening there. 8 and 12, what do you see? Same numbers. But this is in one absolute value, this is split among two, where the addition is taking place outside of the absolute values. So how does this work? The absolute value of negative 5. How far away is negative 5 from 0? It's 5 away. Absolute value of negative 3. How far away is negative 3 from 0? It's 3 away. And then once I find those absolute values, part of that grouping symbol, then I can do that addition. 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. Okay, and now, again, look for these similarities, number 9 and 13. So far it hasn't made a difference. Number 7 we got 8, number 11 we got 8. Number 8 we got 8, number 12 we got 8. So far it hasn't made a difference. Let's see what happens here. The absolute value of 5 plus the absolute value of negative 3. The absolute value of 5 is 5. The absolute value of negative 3 is 3. And 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. Did it make a difference here? Let's see. Number 9 was 2. Number 13 was 8. So did it make a difference? Yeah, it did. How we handle those absolute values all depends on the order of operations. What else is going on with it? And again, we're going to make one last comparison here between number 10 and 14. See how similar those problems are. Same numbers. Addition is happening inside the absolute value. Addition is happening outside the absolute value. Is it going to make a difference? The absolute value of negative 5 is 5. The absolute value of 3 is 3. And 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. Compare that to number 10, where I did the addition first, and then I took the absolute value, I got 2. Does it make a difference, the order that we do these things? Yeah, it does. And then 15 through 18, I am now trying to compare some of this where what if the absolute value isn't over all of it? Or what if we have some parentheses thrown in there? What are we going to do with each of those? So I just want you to give those ones a try. 15 through 18, just give it a try with your groups. I'm only going to give about 45 seconds, and then we're going to do them together. So with your groups, 45 seconds, 15 through 18, and we're going to pause the recording. Ready, set, go. All right, now that you had a chance to look at them, let's go over them together. Talk me through number 15. What would I do? Looking for hands here. Lots of hands. Not enough hands. Tanner. Good. Very good. Negative 5 doesn't have an absolute value around it, so it stays negative 5. The absolute value of 3 is 3, and negative 5 plus 3 is equal to negative 2. First time we've seen a negative answer on here. Why is this a negative answer? I thought we were doing absolute value. Talk with your groups. Why are we seeing a negative answer here? Okay. And I heard what I needed to hear. Let me summarize what I heard from across the room, because we still have a negative 5. We didn't take the absolute value of negative 5. So we still have a negative 5 going on here, right? We didn't absolute value out the negative. It's still a negative there. Number 16. For the sake of time, let's just go over this one together. Absolute value of negative 5 is 5. Plus, is this absolute value? No, those are parentheses. So plus negative 3. 5 balloons plus 3 rocks is equal to 2 balloons, positive 2. And what about number 17? Is this absolute value? No, it's just grouping symbols, and those grouping symbols are there randomly. I put them there just to make it sort of look like some of the others, but to also show that not everything that goes around numbers is going to be absolute values. So negative 5 plus 3 is equal to negative 2. So 18, negative 5 plus negative 3. Again, these are parentheses, not absolute value. So negative 5 plus a negative 3 is going to be equal to -8, because 5 rocks plus 3 rocks is equal to 8 rocks. Now, anything that you didn't finish, which is probably the rest of this, is going to be homework, so it's not too much. You probably already have it done from working ahead. But that is it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.